Does this make sense? Now, I know you've got to have some questions on what we've covered so far. You've got to. So please ask them. Honestly, please destroy the learning, the old learning. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Sean.
Wrong. Sean, can we hear him? Do we need a mic to Sean? Do you want to do the Donahue thing? Do we need the mic, or can we hear Sean?
I'll use it.
Yeah, Sean. Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you. It strikes me that the quotes pattern we're talking about is also really good, not just for this particular thing we're talking about, but whatever her limiting frame is, you say that first,
right,
and then you say the thing after. I just wanted to...
Right. Quotes is a great way of stepping around frames. It's also a way of testing what her limits are. Another way of using quotes is to say, you know, I know at this point in the evening, some guys will look at you and go, I'd love to eat your pussy till you scream for mercy. And she goes... green light. But if she goes, oh my God, you go, and I know you are the classic kind of woman who would require a much more delicate and sensitive approach. You can step back from it. So quotes is also a way of distancing yourself. It's a way of testing limitations. Did you have your hand raised?
Why are you testing for limits?
Why am I testing her limits? I want to see what I can get away with.
Think of it as testing for current limits.
Yeah, current limits. This is Dr. Pagan. That's really his name. His last name really is Pagan. His middle name is Wind. Can you imagine that? Hey, you were there at the strip club when I told that magical story to the stripper. What was the look on her face? Show everyone. I couldn't see because it was so loud. I had to yell in her ear. What was her look? What was her look?
I was talking to somebody else and I turned sideways and I looked and there was a woman sitting next to him that looked like this. She looked like...
The stories are great. When you tell stories, people age regress. You'll see their faces get younger and younger, and then, you know, it's like, once upon a time. Oh. All right. We're actually ahead of schedule. I'd scheduled a lunch break here, but let's have a couple more questions.
Oh, no, they're learning too fast.
Yeah, I'm smoking. Brother, pull up.
You talked about more and more setting a direction of the brain. I'm not clear on that.
The more you listen to what I say, and the more you absorb it and make it part of who you are, the more you'll really get excited about applying these skills more and more and more.
So it's like, it moves you forward.
It moves you forward. It's like a kick in the ass going, move. It's an accelerator, yeah. Very cool, Scott. Very cool. Very nice. By the way, I want all of you to go out and buy a seduction log. Keep track of what you do every day. Date it, write what you did and what the responses were. You'll get a much better set of results when you do that. In fact, you know what would be good right now? Let's have a testimonial break. Seth, you want to come up and talk? Are you willing to be videotaped? You want?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let's introduce Seth. Seth is a stud. Take the teacher's chair. Okay, first of all, Seth, what was your experience, your general experiences with women and how they treated you and what results you got before you discovered the material?
Before 1996, I was the one-hit wonder, the guy you date once. I was getting maybe 3 or 4 dates a year that didn't go anywhere. I was basically timing myself by like one girlfriend for every educational institution I was at.
No wonder you have multiple PhDs. So tell us what happened when you heard the word of the Major and the Ross man.
Basically, I got the website from a friend through email in April '96, and tinkered with it. It worked. Tried it on my partner from dance class by rote. She started wanting to spend more time with me. We went for coffee. Basically, May, June, things worked out. Bingo. Relationship, nice Jewish girl. I was thinking, this is very, very cool. Essentially, she was very young. She was 18. So essentially, I was appealing to her emotions in a way that.
How old are you?
I'm 25. I was 23 back then.
Okay. So, cool. But you had a great dramatic story about some blonde goddess you approached on campus. What is that story? You remember that story?
That's a girl from the swim team.
Tell that story.
Okay.
Real quick, where do you go to school?
I go to Princeton
Do they
University.
have any smart girls there?
They kind of pride themselves on being above average.
Go ahead.
Okay. Basically, I'm a member of the swim team. I could give her full name.
Describe her, though. What did she look like?
She's about 5'11" and a half, thin,
What did
very
she
muscular,
weigh?
blonde, blue eyes.
What did she weigh?
I never asked a woman
Talk
her
about
weight.
talk about the layer of supple muscle. Can you guess? I like athletic women.
Basically, okay,
I want to
began-
lick the chlorine out of their orifices. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet. So whack your dick against a six-pack. I'm sorry. I will shut up.
It takes all kinds. The master, indeed.
So she was beautiful.
She was beautiful. Yeah, basically. So I waltz in, chat for a bit. She's in one of my classes. Fortunately, the class I was taking, not the one I was teaching, so it was legit. We chat for a bit, and I do the connection thing, and she's like, gee, wait, guys don't say stuff like that. Let's have dinner. And so it didn't go any farther than that.
But wait a minute. But a 6-foot-tall, gorgeous Amazon on the swim team asked you to dinner. Now, when she said that, tell what you did. When she said that, what did you do?
I went behind I got her phone number, we arranged to meet, and then I actually went behind the Near Eastern Languages building and cried tears of joy.
Now, people ask me, why do you do this, Ross? And I tell them, the money. So how else have you used it now? Go ahead, talk about your results.
Basically, I've basically used it to settle into a reasonably long-term relationship, and
Is she happy with you?
she's very happy.
Is she cute?
She's cute.
What does she look like? Well, I know you're all wondering, so I'm your voice, I've got your voice in my head for a change, and I'm speaking it. Go ahead.
Okay, about 5'7", maybe 115. So yeah, thin, red-haired Jewish girl. Very, very beautiful. She's
How's the
growing
sex?
into it. I'd rather not answer that on videotape.
Oh, okay. You stud you. But do you like her as a person? Is she a good person?
She's definitely a good person. She's a very happy person. Her family has a very interesting history. Her grandparents are all Holocaust survivors.
Ooh. Well, let me ask you this. Forgive
Yeah,
for just a
sure.
minute. How long did it take her to get interested in you when you did the patterning? Did you have to go through all the traditional dating and all that?
We
bullshit?
had coffee.
We had coffee. And then after you had coffee, you were able to close the deal.
No.
What happened?
Basically, she went home, thought it over a bit, called me about 2 days later, and said, would you like to come visit, essentially.
Ooh. So how much did you spend on the coffee?
$1.50.
And how long did that coffee thing last?
An hour.
An hour.
An hour.
And so an hour of coffee, $1.50, and 2 days later she says, would you like to come visit? What does that mean, come visit? Where did she live?
That was basically her dorm room.
Oh, go to her dorm room.
Yes.
And when you went into the dorm room, what happened then?
That's basically the problem. The way the French phrase it is, the problem is that you're a man and a woman in a room with a bed in it.
Yes, and so was the problem solved in that room?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Now, I say you give this man a thunderous round of applause. I know you have questions for him. Ask. Brother Yates.
I just want to, my impression talking with Seth on the phone a couple of times is that Seth is one of these guys who, when he first started doing it, he viewed it as doing it to somebody and memorizing something, and it wasn't him, but he was very surprised with the result. And now he's going through a transition, and this is becoming him. Elaborate on it. Well, that's my impression of talking.
I'd definitely say it's a fascinating process to see someone move from being kind of standoffish to realizing you have really a great deal to offer. And that's basically, I'm still in shock from last fall at school because a woman I wouldn't ordinarily have approached, basically I talked to her. There was a party on September 15th of last year at the dormitory. This is one of those classic college dorms, 40 women, 400 guys. You know, just a woman I wouldn't ordinarily have approached. Actually, I came up to her at a party, we chatted for a bit. Connection, love versus attraction. I get her phone number. I just call her up a couple days later. Okay, that was Tuesday. Friday night, I come home. There's a note on the door of my dorm room, 9 p.m., saying, "Call me when you get in." Love, Susan, essentially.
She was there beating on the door.
Just think what would have happened had you been there when she would.
Yeah, well, my roommate might not have taken too kindly to that.
Your roommate's probably puzzled by the whole thing.
Anyway, so it was basically take the note, read the note, down the stairs, 3 flights of steps, around the back, her dorm room, slide the card, open the door, walk in, open the door, knock knock, who's there, etc., etc.
This is a different girl than the current girlfriend?
This is, this could get me...
We need a scorecard for this boy.
This could get me into a lot of trouble to the extent that the agreement I have with my current girlfriend is if I don't tell her and if I keep safe...
We won't sell her the tape.
Okay.
For a sufficient amount of funding.
And this is not something I'm planning to do again anytime soon. I don't know. Not before Monday. Not before I get back to school on Monday, in any case.
Yates, can you say infomercial? Just kidding. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Go ahead.
Okay, so... we settle in her dorm room, and this woman is essentially like everything I could ever have wanted. 21-year-old, she's already, all but dissertation on her PhD in Japanese literature. She's from Texas. She's gorgeous. She's adventurous, polymorphously perverse.
Polymorphously perverse means you obtain pleasure from everything.
I'd never been with a woman who'd experiment with other women on a fairly extensive basis.
My glasses are fogging up. I want your life. You can teach these seminars.
And so
you sat, held hands, and read from the Bible?
We sat, held hands, and read Heidegger until she got bored and actually took down some Japanese pornography and began translating it.
That's a green light.
Yes, that's a definite.
When they read Japanese pornography to you, good thing.
Yeah. Pillow Book of Shinomura, I think. I can't remember the title. I don't do Japanese
The
literature.
literature aspect is not important.
Right.
The perfume garden of Sushio no Shimio. So what happened? Get to it.
Well,
man.
I'm sorry.
Details.
Essentially, she closed me, which was, I think, the amazing part of the experience. Because I mean, it's like I had a list of quotes essentially, but that she So, yeah, can we have sex now? All the variants on this is vulgar, but then so is she. All the variants on fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me.
You're going, wait, I'm not done yet.
Wait, I haven't gotten to the blowjob pattern yet. Don't touch it yet. I haven't done the pattern.
Basically, and I'm like, okay, essentially it was, wait, I'm still on the accelerator. Okay, junk
Hang on a minute.
patterns.
He who controls the frame and sets the frame and what goes on within it controls everything that happens. Now, if he had approached her with traditional dating, like, can we go out Wednesday night and I'll tell you about my doctoral dissertation? Okay. Get it? For those of you, excuse me, I want you to go on, but hang on. For those of you who have the thought in your head, I can't do this because I don't look a certain way. I can't do this because I'm not 6 feet tall with bulging muscles. I can't do this because I'm not a blonde-haired, blue-eyed surfer boy. I can't do this because I'm too old, too fat, don't have enough money, I'm not her type. Bullshit. Those things are important in the traditional frame. We are shattering that frame. We're evaporating that frame. We're nuking that frame. We're throwing photon torpedoes at that frame. We're eviscerating that frame. That frame is gone. Continue.
That's really.
So fuck me, fuck me, fuck me.
Yes, essentially.
I assume you took her up on the offer.
She was busy. She was explaining to me that I'd be a great fool if I declined, and I didn't have the heart to do so.
Good. Well, if these shadows have offended, think that this and all is mended, that you did but slumber here, while this vision did appear. But as I am an honest puck, I really do not give a... Keep talking, what else?
The denouement was not pretty because she essentially wanted things to be sex only, and that
What a
wasn't
shame. Only sex with a gorgeous, brilliant, polymorphously perverse 21-year-old Princeton co-ed who's working on her graduate thesis already?
Yeah.
Life's a bitch, Seth. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke, it's true. The power that's possible when you set the frame and you change the game. You set the frame and you know what you're doing. What looks like magic to the outside becomes technology. What looks like magic becomes technology when you know how to think about the situation, how to define it, and you set the frame. But if you operate within a frame that doesn't work for you, and it hasn't worked for you, and you felt bad about it, guess what? Let go of it. It wasn't your fault. There's nothing else you could have done within that frame. So just let go of that frame, and you can let go of all the frustration, all the years of bitterness. Just let it go, because you don't need to step into that frame. You can get rid of that frame. You can step into a new frame. That frame no longer applies to you. You paid your money, you get to select a new frame and build a new one that works. And to build it with precision. To not have to guess, to know what you're doing each and every step of the way. To do it so well that they stop you and go, okay, I don't need to hear any more fuck me in 6 different variations of languaging. And that is consent, by the way. She goes, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. And any court in the land is going to look at that and go, no, that's consent. Anything else? But I want to know something more. You've told us about what you've done with it, and I appreciate that. I'm very proud of you. But what has it meant to your self-concept, how you feel about yourself in here? Take a minute to find the answer for yourself before you tell us. Because that's what I want to know. What has it meant for you as a human being, as a person? What has it done for your belief about yourself and how you feel when you walk through the world?
Essentially, I've spent a lot of time in Europe, France, Germany, countries where maybe not Germany so much as France, but definitely the French regard being successful with the opposite sex as an important tool to have, just to be charming in general. And I was there banging my head against a brick wall. And the way I put it to a friend of mine who I'm trying to essentially recruit to come to a seminar from school is that I would not recognize myself if I met the person I am today in, say, 1993, when I was back in France, still like buying flowers, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the supplication shit.
So it's... Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Now, to those moronic assholes who say this can't possibly work and that I'm a fraud and this is all a shuck, I offer Seth, as a resounding fuck you. We won't name any names. There was a very important point brought up, and I want Major Mark to come up and address it, if you would, Major. Take the stage, if you would. Talk about, someone asked about the stages of learning, the difference between when you're just trying it on and you begin to make it part of yourself. So if you take a few minutes and talk about those stages, remember we talked about the different learning? Talk about that, because it's a very important concept. I give you my personal hypnotist and good friend, Major Mark Cunningham.
Okay, there are traditional phases or traditional approaches to the material. People come to the work, and usually there is some kind of motivating pain that brings you in the door. I mean, you wrote a big check, you flew halfway across the country, halfway across the continent. There was something that motivated you to be here, and you start approaching this stuff, and it appears to be overwhelming. There's a lot to what we do. It's not just, here are 47 canned patterns, now go off and learn this. It's also things that you must become in order to gain power, flexibility, and gratification in the work. And so you start out, it's like, I use martial arts metaphors. You start out as a white belt, and they show you, here's a kick, and you have to go off and do the kick 1,000 times before you can come back and ask a question, because until you've done it 1,000 times, you're not going to ask an intelligent question, So you're approaching it, and it seems to be overwhelming. But you start to develop areas of competence here and there, and you start getting a little more confidence, okay? You start to feel more of a bond with the brothers who are a little bit farther on down the road. It starts to seem a little bit more real to you. You get a greater level of understanding. And so you move up to the next level, where now, okay, you can run through the basic forms. It's time for you to start sparring, okay? So you step into the ring, or by extension, you step out into the coffee shop, and the first thing that happens is somebody kicks your fucking ass, and you're going, whoa, there must be a little bit more for me to learn. And you begin to put it into action. You begin to manifest not only the behavior, but the attitudes that go along with it, the attitudes that give the technique power. And you start getting really, really good. Okay, now guys run through predictable phases. Okay, I set myself a series of challenges. Okay, I always wanted to date models. Okay, so I went through my model phase. Okay, and I was dating models all over the place, and I found that these are very interesting brain-damaged women. I mean, it's like their bone structure is genetically predetermined, and the whole world assumes that this connotes a whole range of things about them. They just become extremely warped, because throughout their entire lives, there are very few men who actually act normal around them, right? So I was dating all the models, and then I went through a redhead phase, which is why I was laughing when Seth was talking about redheads. Let me tell you here, everything you've ever heard about redheads is true in spades. Okay, good news, bad news, it's pretty fucking incredible. Okay, and then I started going through. Well, let's go through even more impossible challenges. There's this lingering belief that women who are married aren't available. Okay, who made this shit up? And so I ran through this whole string of housewives and learned a whole bunch of things. But the thing is, it's like kids in a candy store. Okay, if you're coming out a period of deprivation, a period of starvation, I mean, the first thing you want to do is just gobble up as much as you can. Now, the interesting thing about that type of behavior within this sort of setting or this sort of technology is these women don't necessarily go away when you move on to the next, challenge. Okay, so you're building up this Yeah, stable. Yeah, it's in the software world. It's called the tyranny of the installed base. Okay, because you've been so successful that all of a sudden you're trapped because there are all these women. I used to live in this apartment complex, where to get into the complex you had to get past the security shack and the lock gates and all this, and then you had to get through the locks in order to get into my building, and then you had to actually like get to my apartment. Okay, and my neighbors were pissed. Because I had women jimmying locks, okay? I had women pounding on the door, 2 o'clock in the morning. I know you're in there with some other woman, you know. Which is funny because the guy who lived right next to me got really pissed. Not because of the noise, because his wife kept coming over to see what all the fuss was about. You know? Hey, we were having coffee. What could happen over a cup of coffee? You know. But the thing is you get into this self-indulgent streak. Okay, and then, boy, you're just going to run through women like Kleenex, you know, use and throw them away. And pretty soon you figure out that's not where it's at. That's not what brings you pleasure. Okay, so you start to get more selective. Okay, and maybe it's left-handed redheads. I don't know. You know, it's but you get greater perception of that which actually brings you satisfaction, brings you genuine pleasure, and so you get more and more selective. And while your success rate in terms of out of how many approaches, how many successes do I have, that ratio goes way up, but you tend to slack off on the sheer numbers. I mean, there's only so much that sleep and vitamins can do, you know? And then you get to the point where, as many people do, I mean, we keep having guys come up to this, it's like they've had this incredible revelation, their great epiphany. They go, hey, I could use this in business too. Oh, it hadn't occurred to us. You know, I thought women was just a teaching example. But you get to the point where, as Ross was working with Seth to get him to admit, or actually Yates was, it's no longer what you do, it's who you are. Okay, and there's a moment of tremendous liberation. It's like in the martial arts where you get your black belt. And then you get the 2nd degree black belt. And you go all the way up to like 7th degree black belt. And then they just don't fucking bother rating you anymore because there's no point. Okay? At that point you are really, really good, and that's all anybody needs to know. And it's a unusual state because that's the point not only where you have maximum freedom, maximum flexibility, where you're consistently getting exactly the outcome you want, but you start to figure out, holy shit, I'm just beginning to learn this stuff, and the cycle starts all over again.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I'm still, in some ways, a beginner. I'm always learning new stuff.
We still call each other up all the time, going, hey, this is like 2 7-year-olds who discover the telephone. Hey, you know, this works. Try this.
But you said something, everything you say is brilliant, but you said something profoundly brilliant on the SS list. When someone was talking about reading poems, and he said the poems really work. I'd like you to talk about that perspective because it's so important that they get your point.
It was a thing where a guy had a short, like 6-line poem, and
okay,
who?
That was me.
Okay,
And I read that poem out, just like I was just playing around and read it to 2 or 3 different women with a lot of tonality and really trying to pause it and everything like that. And just the response from them was staggering.
right.
Did they fuck you?
It was no.
No. Go.
Yeah.
Wrong outcome.
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But the thing is, my response to that was poems in and of themselves do not work. Words are delivery vehicles for emotional states. Words are just abstract concepts. They're symbols that we have agreed to use with roughly similar meanings so that we can all find some way of communicating. So when you are using one of the patterns, okay, or if you're inventing stuff on the fly, or you're using one of the speed seduction poems, or you're writing your own, it doesn't really matter. It is not the words, not the phrase, not the pattern that is actually doing the work. It's rather the states that are involved. Now, it has to do with what is the state that you embody as you are speaking. Okay, because that's what you're delivering, right? The words open up a doorway, okay, and your state goes charging right through. So you've got to ask yourself, what state do I embody as I approach the situation? What state do I embody as I am going through the technique. Okay, I went on to say, what state is it that she was evidencing at the time? That is, what state was she showing you some degree of evidence that you have a high likelihood of saying that's where we're starting from, which allows you to start selecting your states for installation.
Yeah, I think the major's being a little bit modest. And I think he's being modest because he chooses his language very deliberately. And this is a brilliant word. It's both poetic and descriptive and very powerful. He didn't say, what states are you feeling? He said, embody. And I want you to talk a little bit about the meaning of that word because it's so important.
What it means to me is embody is that which you manifest. It is not a behavior. It's, geez, I mean, I went to college too long. Let's call it a gestalt, okay? It's the total experience that you are bringing to the moment. And at that point in time, whatever you are doing, saying, feeling that you believe on any level is absolutely true, that is the state that you embody, and that is the state which you impart. So this is why when we catch people saying, okay, I've memorized the patterns, I'm going to walk up and deliver the patterns, we just kind of, heave a sigh and say, I know where this story is going. Because the thing is, if you approach it and say, I'm going to utilize this pattern because I know it's powerful, you're taking the power, you're out of yourself, you're putting it into the words as though it's some kind of magic bullet, and all you have to do is recite it and they just keel over with wet panties. Okay? Now, that's not necessarily true. Okay? If, however, you reverse the model, and what you embody, as I said in the post, is you're relaxed, you're confident, you are filled with the essence of big dickness. Okay? You are very playful. Then whatever you're going to talk about will manifest itself as a powerful pattern. Okay? If you can genuinely embody adventure, romance, that delicious bad boy sense of fun, then whatever you say becomes poetry. Okay, that's where the power of poetry comes from, not from the words.
Filled with the essence of big dickness. Write that down. Now that implies something. The essence of big dickness implies that you have a life outside of your dealings with women. That you have some passion or something you're doing with your life. That your life has something going on for it other than the fact that you want to put your big dickness in tight pussness or I don't know. We're getting a little silly here. But you understand? That implies that you have something of a life and that you have a sense of adventure, a spirit of excitement about you. And the major has consented later on in the weekend to teach you a little bit about the psychology of the romantic hero. Bad, mad, and dangerous to know. Is that it?
Mad, bad, and dangerous to go.
I almost got it
That's
right.
Yeah. Because there are, along that line, there are very, very reliable archetypes that you can use, that you manifest them in your life. And women have been, I always look, I'm a hypnotist, okay? I always look for existing mechanisms that are powerful and I can morph them into something that I find more useful, okay? Now, if I know that religion, society, culture, the entertainment industry have all been spending an enormous amount of time, decades, man-years of development in order to put certain values or certain ideals in their head, the least I can do is take advantage of all of that. Okay, so I don't have to do any of that. Instead, I can steer it directly my way. Now, the interesting thing is, it may start out as a construct for you. It may start out, what's the AA thing? Fake it till you make it. It may seem like you are behaving in an unnatural way in order to discover what is it like to have these attributes. Very, very rapidly, you will discover that you cannot use this technology without dramatically changing yourself. Okay? You cannot, in the long run, use this technology to harm anyone without blowing yourself up. I think it's just fucking hilarious.
Or blowing yourself out, as a former mentor of mine has experienced. Sorry.
That's okay. I just immediately flashed on that and totally lost where I was going.
You're talking about how you can't use the technology without transforming yourself.
Well, that's it. You cannot avoid becoming the sort of man that she has been trained to dream about all her life, simply by applying the technology, doing the exercises, and oh, by the way, you get laid like crazy along the way. It's our built-in reinforcement mechanism.
Yes. Now, one thing, we'll get through it. This doesn't mean that you have to be into physical danger, okay? Now, I'm starting to get to the point in my life where I like things that are kind of physically dangerous. I'm into rock climbing, and it's a real physical challenge for me. I have to really focus. You can't be looking at the chick in the spandex next to you. You fall. Okay, I'm starting to really like putting myself on the edge physically. That's something I would never have done a couple of years back. But it doesn't mean you have to go be a pirate and be fighting people or any of that other stuff. You can have a spirit of adventure without exposing yourself to physical danger.
Right.
And there's something else, though, that Mark has taught me, and that has to do with the stages of learning something. That at first, and let me just give my take on this, that at first you're going to be going out there, stumbling and bumbling, seeing what works. You're just going to be experimenting. And then you're going to find something that works fairly reliably. But then what you're going to do is find out what things in your life have passion and meaning to you. And what you'll be able to do is take what has genuine passion and meaning to you, and you're going to be able to use your skill with language to come up with your own themes and your own patterns that both have a passion and appeal for her and mean something to you on a deep, passionate level. That's when you really fuse with the material. So the first thing you're going to do is go out there and play with the material the way we present it to you. Then you're going to get to the point where you get really good with that. And then you're going to get to the point where you go, no, I want to express what really has passion and meaning to me. And your skills with the language will allow you to do that in such a way that it will have passionate meaning for her as well. That's when you've really fused with the material. I had to learn this lesson the hard way, because in coming up with things for you, and sequences of patterning for you, that doesn't necessarily serve what I know how to do best, given my level of skill and my level of training. So what I teach you doesn't necessarily follow the model that I do myself, because I've learned to move beyond it. Okay? And sooner or later you will too.
You're going to find that passion and sincerity combined is one of the most powerful hypnotic inductions that's available to you. And you've had this experience before. You can be talking with someone and you have diverse attitudes, diverse opinions. And yet, at some point in the conversation, they will state something very simply, that this is simply what they believe, 100%. And it stops you right in your fucking tracks, because there's not any possible opposition or contradiction to that. That is, in fact, what they believe. And as they say it so purely, so simply, you begin to see how that can be real for them. Now, what does it mean to find out how it can be real from them? Okay, it means you go inside and you create that reality in such a way that you can feel it, you can taste it. It literally becomes an alternate reality. Now, you can choose to reject it. That's fine. That's allowed. But put it in the framework of talking to a woman. When you're talking about something, hey, buddy, when you're talking about something that gentleman right there is one of our finest pieces of work. We'll get him up here later. When you're talking to a woman about your life, and it's something that you genuinely have passion about, that you're absolutely sincere about, this is what I think, this is how I feel. Now, most people have such a tenuous grip on reality that they aren't entirely committed to their own sets of beliefs and behaviors. They've been doing it out of habit. They're sleepwalking through their life. When you present them with a powerful alternate reality, you can hear the click. Okay, like he says, you can see the frame expand. All of a sudden, it's a whole new ballgame. And because you're in an entirely new frame, can she possibly have brought any defense mechanism into it? It didn't even fucking exist the second before. There is no defense. There is no challenge. Whatever you do from that point in sinks right in. Yes?
You mentioned earlier that it is impossible for some other unscrupulous individual to use this technology to harm someone else.
No, I said in the long run.
In the long run.
Without consequences coming back.
Without blowing themselves up. You can fuck up people's lives.
You can fuck people up, but you have to pay a price.
We do have a small select stable of ex-students who have used this to totally destroy their own life. And
we help them on the way down.
That's right. Yeah. Well, when we spot them, we accelerate the process. Is basically what happens.
What specifically is it that causes that reaction, or that causes the self-destruction?
You have to go first. Okay, and so if you are working to use the technology to limit someone else's options, for example, it tends to limit yours. Okay, if you are using it to build powerful away from strategies so that the only reason they're doing things is to avoid a type of pain, a universe of pain that you have created and reinforced, that it becomes real for you as well. Now, along the way, the reason why we are just so happy and so pleased to jump in and accelerate that process is you can hurt people. You can leave people with shattered lives with this kind of thing. It's like people buy my course on building a better girlfriend. And what happens is, I mean, there's warnings all over that sucker, you know, that this will result in powerful, permanent change. Choose wisely, my son, you know? And so the first thing they do is they'll go out and they'll take a technique that's designed for permanent, powerful change, and what they'll select as the person they're going to work with is someone who is so needy, so desperate, so gullible that they're just available. Kind of skip the first part, right? Which means that you get this, you know, insane, needy, homicidal person totally fixated on you. What a good idea.
The bunny rabbit gets boiled.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, play Misty tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. But I want to bring the loop back to this notion that you'll go through stages of learning, and that sooner or later, when you know you've got it, is when you fuse the material with who you really are. That's when you really step into significant power and ability. It just feels better.
The technology disappears because it's who you are as opposed to what you're doing.
Yes. And that's when people go, how did you do that? Remember the scene in Jurassic Park, my favorite scene in that movie, where the Laura Dern character and the Sam Neill character have seen the dinosaurs for the first time, and he's like down on the ground puking because he can't believe they have a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And he turns and he looks at the Jurassic Park guy and he goes, how did you do this? You know, that's what you'll get from your friends. They'll look at you and go, how do you do this? And you'll go, www.seduction.com.
You know, we laugh about it, but it's true. There are going to be a hell of a lot of guys who are just seriously pissed off about you. Okay? It's true. I've got this intern where we've been going out and, again, doing impossible things. Okay, you're not supposed to do this in bars. So what do? We go out and do it in bars. Okay? And in bars, you'll have typically regulars. Okay? Very hot women who come to the same place, you know, each and every week. And so there's a large stable of guys who've been hitting on these women for months, okay, to no avail. Okay, we come walking in and start joking around, do a little handwriting analysis, say, geez, don't have time for this, I gotta go, but we're gonna go do something really interesting. Want to go? We're gonna go, yeah, okay, sure. You know, all these guys are going, who the hell are those guys? It's like, okay, another movie metaphor. Remember Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and they're being pursued, okay? And it's like, they do trick A. Ooh, they figured that one out. Okay, we'll do trick B. Ooh, they figured that one out. Trick C. And keep around and say, who are those guys? Okay? That's the way the rest of the male world looks at us. The way they're going to look at you.
Or they think you're paying for it.
In the latter part of that movie, they said, well, really cool, we'll go straight.
Yeah.
So, at this point, let's take a couple more questions, then we're going to take a lunch break, because I think we've reached that point. Yes, sir, what's your name?
Matthew.
Matthew, that's right, I remember.
What you were saying earlier about when it really starts working is when it starts to fuse with who you really are. Are there any ways to accelerate that? Because I find I'm still in the memorization phase. And I need to memorize this and go out and try
Yes,
to
there
say
are.
this too.
Yes, there are, and and we're going to take you through some of that this weekend. Briefly, in a nutshell, it's about learning to have your own experiences in life that really turn you on. It's about learning to explore your own imagination, your own emotional nuances. It's about learning to develop these things for yourself, and then to learn to speak about them in a descriptive way. I still, I had an experience that to this day I can remember vividly. To me, I want more of it. But I had not really had that experience in that way until that time. I was in Alaska 2 summers ago, and I'll never forget it, the most beautiful place I've ever been to. And we were out fishing. And first of all, for me to go fishing,
Major
It's a
step.
major step. I'm overcoming my nerdy little Jewish study book boy thing.
He was outdoors.
I'm out there outdoors. I got the fucking 35-pound salmon. I'm reeling the fucker in and doing all this stuff. And then we said, okay, let's go whale watching. We're done. I caught a salmon. Kim caught a salmon. You'll meet Kim this weekend. It was as long as her body. She's like, I have a picture of this little blonde girl holding this thing, dripping blood. It's like the size of her entire body. And so we said, let's go whale watching. Now, the captain of that boat was great. I got as close to that. Okay, I'm here. See that other corner of the room where Amy is sitting? That's how close we got to a humpback whale nursing her baby. We were sitting on I'll never forget this, we were sitting on the bow of that boat, and that humpback whale came out of the water and turned her flip over like this. And emerging from the water was her baby, nursing, because they have and I looked at Kim and she looked at me, we're both doing the same thing. We couldn't talk. And then, I swear to you, this is not a pattern, this is exactly what happened. The whale turned around and it ponged the boat with its sonar, and we could hear it. I never thought you could hear a whale song, but we heard, I can't do the sound, I can't do it justice. And that was like, okay, I want more of that. I want more of those experiences. I want that kind of thing in my life, okay? But until I really had that experience and was willing to step beyond the edge of what I knew, I couldn't be able to share it with you guys.
We say time and again, you go first.
My ability to share that experience with you guys in this room is not just because I can be descriptive, it's because I had the experience. I opened myself to it so fully that I couldn't talk. For me not to be able to talk, that means I'm either getting a fantastic blowjob or there's a whale nursing its baby. Okay. All right, so part of this is being able to put yourself on the edge of what you're comfortable with and step beyond it. Okay? Now, I thought that was he went behind the building and cried. I looked at that salmon and I went, wow, okay, I'm not a nerd boy anymore. I can catch a fish. Of course, the captain had to help me bring it aboard the boat with that hook thing. But I caught the damn thing.
Gaff, yeah.
The gaff. So, any more questions? I know you got them. Ask them. There's no more salmon left. We ate it. Yes, Tony.
People have been exposed to NLP. They know that the concept of frames has been around for a long time. And you yourself have been trained this up. I'm kind of curious, how did you come back to revisit this again?
Oh, frames? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's his question. He said the concept of frames has been around a long time in NLP. What brought me back to it? Well, a guy by the name of Michael Hall written some brilliant books. He wrote an absolutely brilliant book that I highly recommend to everybody called Mind Lines. MIND-LINES. I'll find Michael's number and give it out for you. And that book just knocked me sideways. That book is the most fascinating NLP exploration I've encountered in the last 12 years. Since I read Frogs and the Princes back in 1987. That book just sent me, boom, so brilliant. His website is www.neurosemantics.com. Absolutely brilliant. That book just... One of the big segments of the frame we're building for you in the speed seduction frame is controlling and designing your own states. You have to go first. When you go first, she's more likely to follow. So let's talk about that. For the rest of the afternoon, we're going to show you some cool ways to design in states of consciousness for yourself at work. Now, I have had students come to me and say, Ross, what I really want is more confidence. I'll look at them, I'll go, really? More confidence? Well, if you had confidence, where would it be stored in your body? I mean, where is this confidence fluid that's like you're 3 quarts low and you want me to open up the plug and pour some in? Because if you think about it, how you doing, Mike? If you think about it, there is no such thing as confidence. Now, what do I mean by that? Confidence is not something you can put in a wheelbarrow. Confidence is what we call a nominalization. It is a process masquerading as a thing. So the other problem with confidence is, if you talk about having confidence, what frame are you putting around something? Think about an area in your life where you have confidence. When you think of that area of your life, what is it that area of your life involves? Yes?
You got a lot of options. You got a lot of different techniques that you can use.
Okay, and what area of your life do you have this?
Horse training.
Horse training, okay. And when you train a horse, that is a task you are performing, correct? Okay, so the problem with confidence is it puts it in the frame of it being a task at which you must do well. Now, if you view another human being on any level, on whatever level, as a task that you must complete, you're going to break rapport. You're going to project that sense of needy desperation that they must respond to you as you say they must. Okay? So you don't want to view another human being as a task. One of the metaphors I use for what I do with women is Top Gun school. Now let me tell you why. You think, wait a minute, Ross, I thought you said don't imagine yourself as being a plane and all that. Think of what they do in Top Gun school. In Top Gun school, they're all on the same side in the first place, right? You know, does everyone know what Top Gun school is? It's Miramar Naval Air Station, where the experience they had in the Vietnam War is that the kill ratio was only like 2 to 1. For every 2 North Vietnamese planes shot down, we would lose 1 plane, and that ratio is just not acceptable. So they opened up Navy fighter pilot school where they would train in tactics with each other. They would get American planes simulating MiG-17, or later on MiG-21, because they were small planes and they could turn tightly and they were very lightweight. And through learning to do this, they learned to utilize certain advantages that the heavier American aircraft had over the Vietnamese craft. For example, they had more energy in a dive. If you put a Phantom into a dive and then you zoomed upward, you could lose the MiG. If you tried to turn with the MiG is going to outturn you and shoot you down. So, Top Gun school would take pit an instructor against the novice pilots and teach them these things. Now the thing about it is they were all on the same side. No one was trying to get anyone hurt. They were just trying to win by getting in the position to call the shot. If you could get the other plane in your little sighting pipper and go, I got the shot, then you win the dogfight. I kind of view it as like that. It's a competition, but it's a friendly competition. It's not like I'm really trying to hurt the other person, but I am positioning myself to be in the superior position. Okay? But even that, I don't like. I want you to, rather than viewing it as a task, I want you to view it as play, as a playful experimentation. Playful, determined experiment. People have said to me, you know, I've seen you on these shows. I've seen you on Geraldo and all these shows. You got to have tremendous balls. I say, I've never thought of it that way. Honestly, I never have. I just view it as fun. It is so much fun for me to go out there and taunt the audience, knowing that they can't get at me. You know? So, if you can put it in the framework of being fun, a fun exploration, then you're going to do a lot better. Now, if it's a fun, playful exploration, then words like confidence really, the problem with confidence is, first of all, it's too vague. It doesn't give you anything to latch onto. And second, it's so fucking boring. I remember when I was first getting into NLP, I went to a crappy seminar, of which there are many, you will find. And he wanted people to get up on stage and model confidence. And they all did the same thing. They'd walk up, some would waddle up, thrust out their chest like this, S-curve their buttocks, put a big fake grin on their face and go, I am Tony, I am confident, I am Debbie, I am confident. Jet out their jaws. I'm going, that looks like lockjaw to me, doesn't it? You know? So I would much rather build a different state for you, a state that involves playfulness, curiosity. And I'll tell you something. One of the best places to start as far as seduction is genuine, deep-level curiosity about another person. When you can develop genuine, deep curiosity about who this person really is, what makes them tick, that's very attractive. If you can do it in a playful way. Now, you don't want to be a DA. You don't want to walk up to her and go, okay, you understand you're under oath, don't you? You know, you don't want to be Ken Starr. Okay? That won't work for a seduction. So, we want to help you design a state that's playful, determined, experimental, lots of fun. Now, one of the things you want to do here is to watch the labels that you put on things. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I have so many times have students tell me, if the woman is average looking, I don't have a problem. But when she's beautiful, I still get scared. How many people have ever thought that to themselves or said it about themselves? Well, that's not correct, because it's not really fear. What it is just a general excitement of your neurology. I don't really think it's fear as much as it is just really being turned on. The reason you don't get those responses around someone you're not attracted to is they don't turn on your neurology. Okay? So what if you began to frame it, rather than being afraid, what if you just framed it as being overexcited? Now, when you're overexcited, that's a state that's primarily felt where? In your body, right? It's a physiology thing. So what I want to start out today is showing you some ways to control your physiology, to control what your body is doing, so you can feel both excited, okay, and at the same time clear-headed. Now, there's a lot of talk in the NLP world, and I respect it, about controlling your internal representations. By that I mean what imagery you make in your head, how you're talking to yourself. That's all very important, and we will emphasize that. But physiology will always knock that right out the window. One of the instructors in Cancun, who I highly respect and fear, is of course Dr. Jack Quickkill LaTourette. How many people from Cancun remember Dr. Quickkill? What'd you think of him? He's pretty scary, isn't he? Well, one of the things he teaches is to get out of the adrenaline dump. When you get excited, when your neurology gets into the adrenaline dump, your vision narrows, your sphincter puckers up, your muscles get all tight, and you can't be aware of what's going on around you. So he teaches a certain posture where it's impossible to be in that adrenaline rush state. So I want to teach you some things about building in new feelings and also learning to control your neurology. And then we'll move on to how you can use sound to build states. Then we'll show you how to do the equalizer, and we'll do some things with your internal energy. Sound good?
Yeah.
Now, what I want to do is I need a volunteer. What I need is someone who, when you see a beautiful woman, you get a excess of physical excitement in your body to the point where you really can't think or speak very clearly. I believe you. Come on. Right? It's sort of like, you ever see these things in the cartoons where the film breaks and the projector goes flat, 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 flat? One of those things. Have a seat. This is part of my theory that very beautiful women put men in altered states. Granted that they're going to put you in an altered state, why not design in and rehearse the altered state you want to go into? Doesn't that just make sense? Yes. Granted that you're going to be put on autopilot, why not have an autopilot that flies the plane smoothly rather than goes into the ground? To use my students' previous metaphor. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What's your name?
Dave.
Dave. I will not embarrass you in any unhelpful fashion. All right. Nervous.
Not yet.
Okay. What is it that Yoda said to Luke? What did Yoda say to Luke? Luke said, "I'm not afraid, Master Yoda." And Yoda looked at him and said, "You will be." You will be. Don't tell that story to women. They'll go. What was your name?
David.
See, the answer isn't changing. All right. So tell me what your situation is. Let me ask you a question. Let's play a little scenario, a little game. We're at a party, and across the room is a woman who looks like she was ripped from the pages of Ripley's Believe It or Not. Okay? She's so fat, she has her own zip code. Okay? Her belt size is equator. Do we need a mic for him? Yeah, let's get him a mic for at least temporary. Her belt size is equator, and in order to take her prom photo, they needed to use the space shuttle.
Thank you.
She's so fat, her ass looks like two pigs fighting over a milk dud. Okay? She's gigantic. Now, along her entire face, she's got a series of string warts with so much hair growing out of them. Okay? She looks like a raccoon. All right? Now, if I said to you, I'll give you $50 if you go up, introduce yourself, and ask for her phone number. Not that you want to do it, but could you do it without nervousness?
Yeah, I could do it.
You could. You sure?
Yes.
I believe you. Do you believe him? I believe him. Not that you'd want to. All right. And by the way, the microphone, if you put it down there, that doesn't talk. If you can talk with that, you don't need this cord. I was at a strip club, and the stripper was like popping her thing right in my face. She was like making it do this. I go, if you could learn some ventriloquism, you could make millions. And she like stopped dancing. She was laughing so hard. By the way, later in the weekend, we're going to have Tony Stripper Banger Blake coming in. He's 42, 43 years old, pot-bellied, balding, And all he does is sleep with bisexual, 6 feet tall and over strippers. So more magic for you. That's his limiting belief. Right. So, Dave, let's change the scenario. Let's say the woman's average. She's not horribly beyond science fiction limitations. On the other hand, she's no knockout either. She's just average, plain old vanilla and Velveeta cheese on white bread. You know, could you approach her?
It wouldn't be as easy.
Wouldn't be as easy, but could you do it?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It would depend.
Now let's change the scenario. Who's your favorite fantasy type of woman?
Maybe Claudia Schiffer.
All right, Claudia Schiffer, wearing what?
White lace.
She's wearing white lace. It's a cold evening, so there's some physiological. She's a little bit forgetful, so there's no panties. Okay? The material clings to each and every curve of her smooth, perfect flesh. She's glowing with that vital, youthful sexuality. Her dress is so short that when she shifts, you can see just a little flash of the shadowy glories contained within her thighs. Her pert buttocks flex and unflex as she surveys the room, licks her lips, and looks right at your Johnson. Now, tell me what you feel in your body when she does that.
I would just want to leave.
Okay. Because you'd be in a state of great excitement, right? So I want you to learn to identify this as excitement. Now, we're going to show you how to experience both excitement and a clear head at the same time. So I'm going to do this exercise with him. We're going to take and do it a few times, and then we're going to do it together. Now, this is an opportunity for those of you at home who have heard me talk about this exercise, because you really need to see it on video. So you don't need this. We're going to take this away. Microphone minder. Thank you, Major.
You bet.
Sleep.
Doesn't work on me.
Sleep. All right. Now, here's what I want you to do. Do you know your left hand from your right hand?
Yes.
Okay. Does this feel right to you?
Yes.
No, you got it wrong. This is your left hand, okay? Is that not your right hand? Not lifting yet. Okay, so this is your left hand, that's your right hand. You agree with me or disagree?
I agree.
Hey, he's doing well so far. Now we've danced to double jeopardy. All right, here's what I want you to do. We're going to do something. I want you to stand up. Stand up. You did that well. Very good. Open your mouth. Here's your treat. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to extend your left arm like that. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, watch this. I want you to open and close your hand very gently. Don't squeeze it tight like you're holding onto a lifeline, but just gently squeeze it like that. Very good. You did that right. Put your hand down. Big. Thank you. What? I know how to instruct the room. We'll get there. Just calm down. Flunk. We have soup cans for you to hold on to, okay? All right, okay, so let's do that again. Put your arm out like this. Okay. All I want you to do is close your eyes. I want you to remember a time when you were moving through the world with absolute clarity, when the thoughts were flowing. You knew exactly where you were in the situation and you knew what to do next. And as you do that, as you get some of that feeling, I want you to pay attention to where the voices in your head were, how you were speaking to yourself, what your body felt like, how you were standing, how you were breathing. And as you do that, you might surprise yourself as you begin to shift into that. As you sort of step into the posture you were in when you were in that situation. Begin to breathe the way you were breathing. Pay attention to the location of your internal imagery, your internal voices, all of those things. And when you really get that feeling of absolute clarity, when you embody clarity, what I want you to do is just begin to slowly close these fingers into that fist. And when you're really feeling all of that, when that state of clarity overtakes you completely, close your hand into that fist and squeeze it. You can take all the time you need in the next 30 seconds to do that. How now are you accessing that state of clarity? Are you?
Yes.
Okay. And close that hand into a fist when you got that state. And when you close your hand, it means the fingers curve like like that. A little more. What's the difficulty here?
Having trouble getting into it.
Into the clarity state? Now watch this, okay? Lower your hand. Here's what I want you to do. Close your eyes. See the image of yourself being clear, but see it from the back. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, and now I want you to literally take a step forward and step into that person. Step into it. Now put your arm out. Close your eyes. Now get that clarity and close the fist. Much better. There you go. Now I want you to just pump the fist just a little bit. Open and close it. Each time you do it, the state of clarity builds. That's right. There you go. Now open your eyes, close them. Now I want you to remember a time, open your hand, remember a time, I'll support your arms, and just relax, okay? Remember a time when you were feeling really cocky. It could be about anything. Really cocky. When you feel that state of cockiness, if you need to step into that you can do that as well. Close that hand into a fist. Just working it out. Close that hand into a fist. Can you now do that, or would you rather step into that image?
I'm getting to it.
Okay. Good. Let it pull you towards it like a magnet. There you go. Squeeze it into a fist. Just do it. Okay, very good. Now put that down. Now, you all right?
Mm-hmm.
You can ignore them. I'm here. All right? Now, the next thing, turn your face that way. The next thing I want you to do, I want you to put this arm out about like hip level. No, the right arm. Hip levels, like that. Like right there. So if you put your hand like that, you'd be right on the family tools. Okay. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to imagine Claudia Schiffer. She's bent over in a long bikini. Her butt is oiled. Okay? And when those feelings of excitement begin to reach your body, I want you to close this into a fist and watch how closely, how quickly he does that. Yeah, there you go. And squeeze that fist a couple times. Don't turn your neck this way. Relax. You're going to grab it. All right, now we're going to do something real interesting. You know what we're going to do? Can you put your hands out like this? See that? This one's out by your hip. This one's out here. Now watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Don't do anything, but watch me. What we're going to do, watch what my hands do. Is as I bring them slowly together, one comes down, one moves up, and I begin to squeeze them into fists until they're resting, one on top of the other. And I'm going to bring them in like this, okay? So I want you to close your eyes. What I want you to do is close your eyes. Down go the lids. I want you to imagine Claudia Schiffer, but as you do, begin to bring these hands together. Begin to slowly squeeze them into fists. Bring them together. This one moves up as this one moves down. Bring them together into fists. And hold it right there in the center line. Squeeze them. And notice what it's like to experience both those states, to experience both clarity, cockiness, and some excitement in your body. Be perfectly still and hold that state and let them begin to integrate. Such that you now have built yourself a different set of choices when it comes to your physiology. Notice how you begin to breathe from a different place, how your breathing can come from here instead of high up in the chest, it comes from here. Notice how you can begin to experience the energy of your excitement as something that actually activates your brain and makes you more clear. So that rather than the energy having been pulled only down to towards below your belt, it now is appropriately balanced. So you can pull the energy up through there, allow it to wake up your mind, wake up your charm, wake up your ability to think. Now, holding your hands there, I want you to open your eyes and actually imagine Claudia Schiffer is there in front of you.
Okay.
Now, do you feel differently in your body?
Yeah, I feel better.
Do you feel different in your body? What's the difference in the way your body physically feels? Where's the energy from?
Partly it's the way I'm holding myself.
That's
Partly
right.
it's, I don't have the adrenaline feeling.
That's right. The
aspect.
adrenaline feeling is not there. Okay, so let's do it again. Okay, so, okay, we start from here.
Okay.
Okay, this one's here. Now watch me first, okay? Watch me. In fact, as you watch me do it, you'll go into the state. Watch. Watch what my hands do. Close your eyes and do it for yourself. Begin to bring your hands to fists, close them. That's right. Does it feel different?
Mm-hmm.
Really, honestly, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Significantly so?
Yeah, it's
You
a definite
hesitate.
difference.
Okay. You need to practice with this. Now, there's also something else going on here. My intuition is that being in front of a room is not necessarily the most comfortable experience for you.
I'm not used to it. No.
You're not used to it, okay. How do you know? As you were knowing that you weren't used to it, how were you knowing that?
Felt uncomfortable.
It did feel uncomfortable, didn't it? Okay. You probably have some representation in your mind of what it means to have been in front of a room before. Okay? But sometimes when you have a representation that's not comfortable, what happens is, right, you can build a different one. So if you were to build a state that really serves you when you're in front of a room, close your eyes. And I want you to see the you that knows how to be comfortable and cocky in front of the room. In fact, imagine that I'm standing in front of you with my back to you. And you step into me, so step forward into me.
Okay.
And take some of my ability in front of the room. And now step forward again, bringing some of that my ability in front of the room with you. So you step in, now you step in, now I want you to see the new you that has that ability. Step forward into that one. Now open your eyes, talk to the room for me.
How do you feel?
I feel better.
Better? Significantly, a little bit? Now, turn around, take that and close your eyes, take that ability with you and walk back to the front of the room. Now turn around and look at them with that ability wired in. You look different to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now do this exercise again. Now that the thing with the room is over, do this again one more time.
Okay.
You know how to do it. Do it for yourself. Fists. There you go. Now look up.
Okay.
Now imagine Claudia's in front of you.
All right.
Now look at her. Look at Claudia and go. Look at Claudia and you go.
Okay.
There you go. You're getting a little fat around the thighs. Just say it.
Hey, you're getting a little fat around the thighs, Claudia.
Oh, pretty good. Okay, now I want you to say to her, is it true that German girls taste like strudel? Let's do it. Imagine she's there.
Is it true that German girls taste like strudel?
Okay. Very good. All right. Now, we want you to have a seat.
Okay.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Down there. Okay, so we're going to take everyone through the exercise. So. Okay, so we're going to take everyone through this exercise. So here's the way it works. So let's get some room here. So first of all, let's stand up and zap each other. We need to wake up. Do it, Mike. Come on. All right. Now let's do a little cross crawling. So you do it like this. Wake up. Wake up. Yeah. Thank you, Rex. Sit down. All right. No, stand up. Remain standing, but get some room between you. So if you open your arms, you're not going to smack each other in the face. If you need to move beyond the boundaries of your chairs, that's fine. This is not a traditional classroom. Okay, so here's the first part of the exercise. Can you all see me? As best you can. First part of the exercise is to note the difference between the left and the right arms. So please note for yourself your right arm and your left arm. Do you have that difference?
Yes.
All right. Now what you're going to do is, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to extend your left arm straight out from the shoulder. Do we have that?
Yes.
You're going to close your eyes. And you're going to imagine a time when you had absolute clarity of mind. This is a time when the thoughts were flowing, where you could control the speed at which things were happening inside. You knew what to say and what to do, and the answers just popped right into your mind. And when that state of feeling absolute clarity really begins to take hold, as you feel that state begin to embody itself within you, feeling the way you feel in your body, just begin to squeeze that hand into a fist. Not tightly, just gently. Enough so you can feel it. And just open and close your hand like 3 or 4 times. And each time you do so, just allow that state to really lock in. Very good. Now what I want you to do is open your eyes, close them just as rapidly. Remain with your arm out there with your hand open. And remember a time now when you were feeling cocky. It could be about anything. Maybe when you were cocky as a little boy, mouthing off to someone. Maybe you were cocky on the job, playing around with friends, whatever. Okay? Remember what it felt like. If necessary, if you have to physically step into that one of you, then make some room and step into it if that helps you. Okay? And when you begin to really embody what that state of cockiness felt like in your body, in your mind, again, pump that hand into a fist. Sorry. Very good. Now put your arm down. Now the next part of the exercise involves identifying your right arm. Can we all identify our right arm? This is your right arm. All right. Now, here's the next step. The next step is learning to put your right arm out about hip length. So if you were to move your hand over and do this, you'd be grabbing the family jewels. Okay, you got it? Has everyone got it?
Yep.
Yes. All right. Now, keeping your hand out at that length, at that altitude, close your eyes. Close your eyes. And if it's easier to visualize with your eyes open, you can do that as well. I'm not rigid about this. Okay? I want you to think of an HB who really gets you hot. Imagine her in her skimpiest, sexiest outfit. Maybe she's dancing, whatever. And when those feelings of excitement begin to run through your body, close that hand into a fist. Like you can sort of do at home. So Riker, don't have your hand turned up. No, Riker, look at me, like this. And extend your arm straight. You're bending your elbow. Don't bend your elbow, guys. Don't bend your elbow. Don't let me send you to the guard shack. Okay. You, we're not doing that. Extend your arm like that. Okay? Squeeze it into a fist. Going around checking the short arms here. Okay. I got to correct this guy. He's not getting it. No. Extend it like that. Got it? Squeeze it into a fist. All right? Very good. Okay. Now here's the next step. Relax. Let your arm go loose. Open your eyes. Now the next step is we're going to put our left arm out like this. You see? Like you're saying stop. Like you're going to clothesline someone, okay? We're going to put our right arm down like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that HB. And as we do, that hot babe, we're going to begin to bring our arms together. The left arm moves down as the right arm moves up. And we make them into fists, and we place the left fist on top of the right fist. And we squeeze them together. You get it? You want to see me do it again? Watch. Watch me. Got it? All right, so do it. Imagine that HB and do it. Long? No. Yeah, there you go. Keep it out and extended before you pull it into yourself. And you can pump the hands, you can pump the fists a couple times if you want. And hold it there. And notice how it feels different in your body when you do that. Allow those two physiologies to combine for the first time. So you can feel what it's like to feel both excited and clear-headed. Okay, now open your eyes. Now, how many people did you feel a different state in your body? Okay? How many people did not feel a different state in your body? In fact, who only remain standing if you didn't feel it, because you're the people I want to work with. If you didn't feel it, remain standing. It's okay. Huh? Okay. So come up here. Greg, you're not getting this? Okay, so...
I got it in flexible understanding.
Well, then come up here. I'm going to knock you off all real fast. Scooch over. Yeah, come on up if you didn't get it. Come on up.
This is your chance, guys.
This is your chance. Don't bullshit me.
Guys that are not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to show you my amazing change method. Get up there. You ready? What the fuck is wrong with you assholes? Making me look stupid. You got it unconsciously. Now sit down. All right, look. Look. Okay. First of all, when something isn't working, there's usually a methodology to do it. First of all, how many of you are able to feel anything in your body when I ask you to? How many of you here, if I asked you, remember a time, close your eyes, or keep them open, whatever you need to do. Remember a time when you were feeling turned on by a woman. Who here cannot do that and actually feel it in their body? Don't be embarrassed, tell me, because that's something I can work with. Okay, so you can all get that state, yes? Yes? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
As long as you answer me verbally, you can stay up here. If you don't answer me verbally, sit down and get out. Okay, how many people can remember a state of physiological excitement? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you remember that state, can you track where you feel the excitement in your body, other than your crotch? We know you feel it there. Or how does your breathing shift? Can you track that? Close your eyes and put yourself back in that state of excitement. And ignoring your crotch just for a minute, pay attention to where you're breathing from. Where any sensations of warmth or temperature take place, other than below the belt. Have you got that? Can you all do that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
You can't do that. Tell me if you can. I'll help you even more. Can you do that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. I know that clarity is sort of like a neutral state, and it's more difficult to find. So let's pick a time when you were feeling, if you could pick a state that's more useful, even more sharp state of mind than clarity, what would it be?
Having a godlike grasp of the rules.
Have you ever had that happen? How about this?
No.
You do video work, don't you?
Yeah.
You ever had a time when you lined up the shot in the viewfinder and you said to yourself, that's it, it's perfect?
Yes.
Okay, access that one. Okay?
Yes.
Now you're seeing that one. If you need to really get it, now sometimes those states aren't really much more than from here to here, and that's okay. So step into that one. You know how to do that. Okay? Put your hand out and do what you need to do to get that one locked in.
For that clarity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Go ahead. Notice the submodalities. You know the jargon. Notice where you're hearing the voices, where you're breathing from.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, step up a few steps and bring the thing, do the entire exercise, using that one as your anchor. Imagining the hot babe. You know what to do. Do it. Come on now. Come on now. No, well, you're overlapped. Do it again. Hold the steady. Pump down. This one steady. Okay. You get it more now?
Yeah, I got it.
Do you really get it more now?
I couldn't access it.
I'm not Bartla, okay? If you're not getting it, tell me. Are you getting more of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't equate clarity with confidence.
Okay, good. So you sit down. You. Pick out two. Pick out two.
There you go.
This is the stooge method. All right. All right. So you're having some trouble accessing clarity?
It's a little easier now that I heard you talk to him. But yeah.
Okay, so are you able to do it?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, well, do it. You know the rest of the exercise. Access the state.
Stand at it.
Yeah. Do the whole fucking thing. What are you, retarded? Come on now.
It's very difficult for me.
You rode the small bus. Padded windows. I'm such a compassionate, patient teacher.
Definitely.
Come on now. These guys are all nervously going, when is it my turn? When is it my turn? Well, you're good at pumping that hand.
I'm right-handed.
Sure.
I'm ambidextrous.
All right. Now, do the whole thing. Bring them together. Wheel yourself into a new. Okay. Well, open your hands. Open your hands. Bring them together. I'll tell you when to start. Now begin to close into this. There you go. Keep that one closed and pump that one. Okay, now hold it. Hold the state. Look at the HB. Bring that into yourself. Flatten your hands against your chest. Get it more that time?
Yeah. More. It's not crystal clear yet. But.
Well, that's the wrong system. We don't want it to be clear. It's a felt sense in your body. Okay. Now, if you're not getting it more, tell me the truth.
I'm not getting it more.
Always be truthful with your teacher, okay? You get a pop tart.
Okay.
This is not about making me right in front of the room. It's about you getting it, okay? We'll hold it for you, okay? Do the pop tart line. If it gets that, okay. Let's try it again, okay? Let's try it again. So, when you access that state of clarity, are you able to hear in your mind where you hear your voices?
It's more of an intellectual thing. Yeah, it's like right up here.
Oh, okay. Watch this. Ready? Do that again. It's more of an intellectual thing? Okay. Hold it right there.
Okay.
Okay. Watch this. Imagine there's a line extending from there to there. Okay. Now open your hand. Now, put your hand flat out. See it getting bigger out there? Take a deep breath and blow breath into it. Another one. And with each breath you blow, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Now imagine you're Mr. Fantastic. You can stretch your arm across the room, do it, and the ball gets bigger and bigger as the hand goes further and further away from you. And now, drop that hand and just see that thought ball out there. And now take all that, put it out there.
Okay. Yes, okay, and now I can feel it.
Now you can feel it. Right. Okay. Well, yeah, when you keep things in your head, it doesn't really make them that exciting, does it?
Right.
Were you told as you were, I don't know, were you told when you were a kid not to daydream? Were you?
Yes.
Ooh, how did I know that? Ooh, psychic. Well, guess what? The person who told you that, they were fucking stupid, okay? You have my permission to daydream. That's right over there. All right, now, step into that daydream. Step into it, man. Really, just close your eyes, step into it. Boom.
Okay.
Now do it. Yeah. See, you get results when you're honest with me. If you're honest with me and tell me what's really going on, I'll get around it, okay? If you're here because you think you need to make me right, you're in the wrong place. Now you got it. Now he looks different, doesn't he? I know when you're lying anyway because I can read your nonverbals, so it doesn't do you any good. Okay, now bring them together. Now, I want you to hold that as I talk to you, because tonight you're going to have a dream. You're going to have a dream about daydreaming. Now, what does it mean to daydream inside of a dream? What does it mean? I once had a dream where Richard Bandler was hypnotizing me, and in my dream, I could feel myself going into trance and waking up again. Now, what does it mean to go into trance inside of a dream? What does it mean to wake up inside of a dream? What does it mean to inside of a trance have a dream? What does it mean to inside of a trance wake up from a dream? What does it mean to understand that you have the birthright to explore all these things? What if that command way back when you were a kid not to daydream was only a bad dream that you've awakened from? So you can begin to create your own realities as you see fit. Because it's okay to temporarily consider things just in here, but when you really want to play, when you want to find that place in your mind where anything can be possible, where anything can be tried out, anything can be tried on, that's the time to look out there, see that window on the world, that movie screen of coming attractions, see which ones you like and which ones you don't. It's also a place where you can do something really dangerous and ask looking at police you've been given. Put them up there, see if you like it. If you don't, erase them, run it backwards at the circus music, do whatever you want. Because the person who told you that wanted to control your mechanisms by shutting them off, and we're going to put them on in ways where you can discover and explore and be a lot more excited and exciting in your life. The people you move through, the people you touch through. Now, always be honest with your teacher. I'll fucking bitch down if you piss them off. Okay, now. Imagine that beautiful babe in front of you. Okay. Do that, real quick. Now open your eyes and imagine she's there. Does it feel different in your body?
Yes.
Much different?
Much different.
Do you believe him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now he's telling the truth. Sit down. Don't lie to me. Come here. Come here, boy. You know that thing in Batman where the guy's doing the knife thing and Batman kicks the shit out of one of them and the other crook pulls a little tiny knife and Batman goes, he runs. Okay. Can you, now, were you one of the ones who said you couldn't get the state of clarity?
Right.
Okay. All right, well, when you think about a state of clarity, where are those thoughts?
I visualize it.
You visualize it where?
I visualize it in my mind.
Where in your mind?
In
Point.
the front left.
So it's right there, huh?
Yeah.
So it's just like him, only it's there, but it's still in your head.
It's still in my head.
All right. Well, you know what happens with things in your head? If I hit you hard enough, it's going to get loose. Roll out your ear and go into the room. Okay, so here I go. Actually, Paul, you're going to come up here and do it. If you don't put him out, by the time he walks up, he's going to hit you and they're going to fly out. So you better put him out there right now. Ready? Look in his eyes. No. You can back up. Don't hurt him. Okay. So I want you to take that thought. Okay. Roll it out your ear. Maybe you don't want to roll it out your ear. You can fart it out your ass. Fart it out your ass. Literally. Bend over like this, and go. Send the fart out. Send that thought out to a fart bubble out there in the room. Close your eyes and look at it out there. And notice on the back of it there's a rubber band. So if you try and put it back in your head, it just snaps back out there again.
Okay, I have it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Now look at it out there. Okay. Close your eyes. Look at it out there. Now you think I'm going to tell you to step into it, but I'm going to tell you to do something else. Reach out your arms. Reach out your arms. Imagine you can stretch your arms across the room and pull it down onto you. Pull those pictures right back down onto you. Like this. Go. Yank them towards you, like you've got rubber bands attached to it, or bungee cords. No, not lumpy ass puss shit like that. Yank it towards you like it's a fucking pussy, and you're yanking it on your dick. Yank! That's it. That's the boy. Now you got the state. Now notice how things appear in your mind, how you talk to yourself. When you got that state of clarity, drop that arm, put this arm out, and squeeze that hand. Boom, boom, boom. By the way, nice manicure. But don't get the clear nail polish. It makes you look gay.
I told him not to do that.
Okay. Oh, shut. You look like a man. Let me get it to you. Now you got that state of clarity more now? You believe him? Okay. Now do the rest of the exercise. You know how to do it. Remember? Can you get the sexual state? The sexual state you can get, right?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay. So do it. You know how to do it?
Yeah.
Remember? Do it. You got it. That's right. We're going to close them into this now. Right. And now keeping this one closed. Pump that one. Procedure when you want to put a thought outside of your head is to bend over, fart it out in front of you, put it across the room, and see it real vivid, then reach out with your magical arms and yank it into yourself so you can feel what it feels like to have it. Now, does that feel different?
Yes, a lot different.
A lot different. Okay, go sit down. Next.
Next.
See? Tell me the truth. Okay. Now, what was your challenge with it? Could you access the state of clarity?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Okay.
I was trying to find that point in time where I felt the most clarity.
Okay.
I wasn't quite sure.
Okay. Well, you don't have to exactly get precise and find the most. You can just find a really good one.
All right.
Okay, so rather than make it a perfect task where if you don't find the absolute most one, well, that may not be the most. Find a really good one that you can use. Okay. What did Patton say? The good is the enemy of the best. Because the best you keep going and going and going, and you just can't find the best one. So can you remember one where you felt some good clarity? Mm-hmm. That's not a very strong response.
I can remember.
Can you? Okay. Oh, Dave? Noise is distracting. Okay. So find that one. Access that one.
Okay.
You can put this arm down.
I can put that one down.
Yeah. Just use this one. Okay. Step into that state of clarity. In fact, you need to use your body, put your body into things. So we're going to do something with you. I want you to imagine that you can see yourself standing in front of you,
Okay.
but you're looking at the back of you, and actually just step forward into that one that has the clarity. Step forward into it. Take that clarity on. Hold that clarity. Squeeze your fist. Squeeze that fist. Just a couple of times. Do it a couple of times. Open and close. Open and close. Because there's something else you want to have opening and closing around a part of your anatomy. Now take that ability and step forward another step. Now I want you to grunt. You got it. That's right. Again. Squeeze your fist as you do it. Open and close your fist as you do it. That's right. Put your body in it. Pull the energy up from your spine through, into your head and back. Good. Now you've got it. Now do the rest of the exercise. Now, this one needs to go down here. Start from here. This one starts from here. Start with your hands open and now bring them together as you close your fists. That's right. Now you've got it. Right there. Now open and close this one. Keep this one closed. Open and close that. Does that feel different?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. Okay. Now, where do you feel the excitement in your body when you do that?
Near the sternum.
Near the sternum. Okay. Now take the energy from the sternum and pull it up here. Put it into your head. Imagine it's going back up here, circulating around. Breathe. Remember to breathe. Where are you breathing from?
Usually I breathe up in my chest.
I know you do. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Have you ever been, my intuition about you is there's something concave about you. You kind of caved in, like you're sheltering yourself from a blow you've taken. That you've been hit or bruised, whether physically or not, like there's some history of some kind of abuse or something. Is that in any way accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so there's something I need to do with you that's a little bit different. Yeah, you can open your eyes if you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a story, so sit down there.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to tell you a story. Okay, well, what's your name?
Tom.
Close your eyes, Tom. Now, once upon a time, there was a very clever monkey. Now, this very clever monkey lived in a village, as monkeys are often wont to do. Now, this clever monkey was also something of a pain in the ass. He liked to do fun things, like when the villagers would get together for a village dinner, his favorite thing was to come swinging down from the trees and with delicious deliberateness piss in the community soup. He would take his multicolored monkey dingus, whirl it around, pee in the soup, and go scampering off before they could catch him. He liked to do other things too. He liked to play patty cake with his poo-poo. He would take his monkey dung, patty cake it into nice, throwable little frisbee-like shapes, and when the village women were out making their arts and crafts, he would throw them hurling right into their faces on top of their beautiful hairdos, ruining everything. Now the village was besides itself. They had this community meeting. They said, we've got to think of ways to catch the monkey. So they selected the most intelligent, clever trappers in the village, and they built a trap made of leaves and various things, and they baited that trap with the monkey's favorite foods. What they did is they got the most beautiful women in the village to stand around the trap and dance around to attract the monkey. Now the monkey, being very clever, took some coconuts, hurled them at the trap, and when the trap collapsed so he could see it, he went swinging down from the trees and went off with an armful of his favorite food, laughing and throwing his feces all away. Now, people couldn't figure out why the monkey had such a head of steam worked up against him, why he was being so malicious and vindictive. And the funny thing was, the monkey had forgotten too. Because you see, a long time ago, many years ago, the village had done something to offend him. But he'd gotten so used to his routine of tormenting people, he didn't even remember what it was he was all about. Now, one day, a wizard came to the village. And being friendly villagers, they provided food and drink for the wizard. And he noticed that people were very unhappy. And he said, what seems to be the problem here? I don't understand. You have a nice village, everything's appointed, and nice for you. What's wrong? And they told him about the clever monkey who had a grudge. And the wizard said, aha, what will you give me if I rid you of this problem? Now, the villagers said, you're only a wizard. What can you do? Our best hunters and trappers have tried. He said, what will you give me? He said, well, we happen to have a women's volleyball team in the village, and we will give you the entire women's volleyball team for your harem if you can solve this problem. Well, the wizard said, where is the village square where the monkey normally shows up? And they pointed it out. He says, that tree over there, that looks pretty good. I want you to get me the monkey's favorite food. What does the monkey love? He said, the monkey loves figs. He said, I want you to get a whole bunch of figs and put them in the hole in the tree. And they said, that's ridiculous. The monkey will know you're going to be there. As soon as he sees you coming, he'll run away. It won't work. He said, just do it. But don't just put a few in. Fill the tree with figs. They said, if we do that, we're not going to have figs for the rest of the year. He said, just trust me. Do what I say and make the changes that I tell you to. So they made a big show of gathering up all the figs, and they put them in the hole in the tree. And sure enough, the monkey comes swinging down, reaches into the tree, and grabs a gigantic fistful of figs. And with that, the wizard says, give me a machete. And he begins to approach the monkey. Now the monkey sees the wizard coming, but he doesn't want to let go of the figs. And because his fist is so filled with those figs, he can't pull his arm out of the tree. And he cannot get away. And the wizard's getting closer and closer and closer with that machete. And that night, they all dined on monkey head stew. And the wizard fucked every one of the primitive village women's volleyball team.
Happy ending.
The end. That's a nice story, don't you think? I like that story. So we're going to work with you a little later. I want you to trust me, go back to your seat, and we'll work with you later, okay?
Okay.
You guys want me to pick on you too? Or are you ready to change before you come to the seat? Take a minute, because I'll work with you. Take a minute, close your eyes. Allow your mind to notice what's happened with the people who have been up before you. And see how you can take everything you've learned from them and begin to apply it to yourselves. Because what I want you to do is go back to your seats and remain in this state of contemplation. And when we take a break, I want you to try the exercise again for yourselves. And then report back on your results, okay? So go back to your seats. Go back to your seats. The moral of the story here is be straight with me. Don't bullshit me, because I know when you're lying, usually. I'm not going to make you wrong if what I'm doing isn't working. That's a sign to me I just need to do something different. Okay? That's a good lesson for you all to learn. Beware of a trainer who wants to make you wrong because you're not getting the results that he thinks you should be getting. I'm serious. Now, those of you who are still standing up here, close your eyes. Go into that state where you can recall everything that went on up here with the other people I worked with. And begin to absorb through yourself, sort through what you saw, both consciously and unconsciously. And begin to allow yourself to utilize and use any and all understanding and learnings you can draw from that experience, that you apply them to yourselves, such that when you take the next break, you're going to go out into the hall and try this exercise, do the exercise, and report back on the differences. Fair enough? Yes?
Yes.
Anyone need a break here? You're looking kind of, you guys look like you're wilting. Wake up. Come on, I'm doing all the fucking work. Yes?
Yes.
All right, good. Now, the next thing I want to do is show you how to build some really good feelings, new feelings that you've never had before. Fair enough?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. You know what? Let's build some really good feelings, new feelings that you've never had before. Fair enough?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. You know what? Let's take 5 minutes. Take a 5-minute break. So now you see the lesson you learned is if you're honest with me, I can help you out. If you lie to me, I can't help you. So, of those people I sent to, did you do the exercise out there? You guys? The guys who I said go out there and try it on the break?
Yeah.
Did you get a different result?
Yeah.
What was your different result? Stand up. Speak up.
At first, I thought I wasn't getting it because the really good feelings that I like to dwell on when I look at a beautiful woman were gone. And I was just noticing that they were gone. Then I did a second time and I noticed that while they were gone, I was so excited, but I couldn't think.
So you had excitement without horniness.
Yeah.
Now guys, when you can learn to turn your lust from 100 down to 10, you'll get much further. If you're leading with your dick, you're going to get it kicked instead of licked. Okay? Who else? The remaining people I had up here, did you try it outside? Raise your hands, the remaining people I had up here. You and who else? Did you try it?
Yeah.
Did you have any difference? Tell the truth. No, okay, we'll work with you later. Remind me. All right. You know who he reminds me of? Meryl. Remember our student Meryl? He looks like Meryl. That's who I thought he was.
No, I think it's actually Meryl looks like me.
That's possible too. You're both pretty fucking ugly. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right. I just want to take a minute to bring someone up. Where is Kamal? You want the camera on or off you? What do you think? I just want to take a minute to bring up Kamal. He'll be presenting later in the weekend. Come up, Kamal. Now, Kamal is an example of using humor to the utmost degree in a having a ballsy attitude in doing this material. Can I get the handheld mic, please? Kamal, I was talking about you earlier today. I said we were talking about quotes. I was talking about how you will quote squirrels and things. Can you talk about that story where you quoted a squirrel?
Sure. Or if you were to step back, you could either go small chunk and quote anything that's available around you, or you could go big chunk and say it's a way of using a weasel phrase, if you may. It's a way of injecting another idea in their mind without saying that it's me saying it. If you could elicit their values, you could quote anybody and show them how you morph, or you could morph yourself and show them how you have those values. There's something funnier than that, than the squirrel.
Oh, but talk about the squirrel and then tell whatever story you want to tell. Talk about how you quoted a squirrel.
Okay. There was this woman from France whom I met at a seminar. I wasn't in the seminar, I met her outside, and I found that she was a speaker at the seminar. She was part of some cult or something that believed in aliens and aliens having all these great qualities, so they were better than human beings. All I had to do was to elicit those qualities as to why she likes aliens and how she feels when she thinks an alien is around. And she was of the belief that aliens can have any shape or form they want, and she was very serious about it.
You've been dipping into the same dating pool as I've been swimming in.
So I was sitting there scratching my head, right, what to do, and this was outside, so I saw a squirrel close to a tree. So all I had to do was to show her how a squirrel was looking at me, and it's like you go up to it up close and you realize it's not really a squirrel. And you have all those feelings, and you start feeling that somebody's present. I mean, she told me how she felt when an alien was present, so all I had to do was to repeat that, right? You guys have been learning all that. And again, with gestures, I was associating myself with the squirrel. And the worst part of this was that it was hard for me to keep a straight face.
Now, he has a set of tapes that we sell, a set of videotapes called Magical Connections, where he and Brother Ben are out there videotaping themselves. Sergeant is a term meaning using speed seduction on women. And he's like, at one point he's doing palmistry on this beautiful co-ed from, where was it, Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz.
She was hot. And you're reading her palm, and she goes, I thought palmistry always reads the left hand. And he doesn't miss a beat. He looks at the camera like this. You see him go, like, watch this. He goes, well, where I was trained in the foothills of the Himalayas, we learned Indian palmistry that uses the right hand. He didn't miss a beat. We were on the floor. Evan and I were watching this, and we were on the floor pissing ourselves with laughter. It's the funniest fucking thing. But I want to know, I mean, this incredible ability you have, I don't think it's competence. I think you're having fun.
I think I'm successful because I have a lot of fun doing it. If you take the fun aspect out of it, I probably would not do it. I probably would stick my head somewhere else or be in front of a computer all the time. But it's so much fun. And the part of that is I never know what they're going to say, how they're going to respond, right? So I take whatever they say and I come up with something that works, and that's what makes it so much fun for me.
Now tell the story that you think is funnier than the squirrel story. I don't know how you can top that one, but go ahead. By the way, what happened with the alien? Did you enter her landing zone?
No, actually her boyfriend was right next to her, this big...
But he was invisible.
He felt extremely, extremely insecure because he saw that she had all her attention on me, and we kept getting close to her. I mean, I kept getting close to her, And he was watching from a distance for a while, but he couldn't help it, so he came and he pulled her out.
So tell about the story that's even funnier.
Oh, this is the story, the alien story. I mean, I call it the alien story, not the squirrel story.
Oh, the squirrel story. Okay. Cool. Well, Kamal's going to be teaching later in the weekend, telling you about how he uses this stuff to pick up women, and he's just made he's a much different person than when we first met him in so many different categories and aspects of his life, and not just the fact that he can get laid how he wants to and when he wants to, but what he's doing with himself and how he moves through the world. Yes, sir.
I just have a question for Kamal. Was this fun for you from the get-go, or did you have to get there? Was it like a task at first? And how did you get from a task to fun?
Before I met Ross, it was a task, and it was something I hated to do because the results I had been getting were lousy, because I had so many limitations built upon myself. And when I met Ross, all I could focus on were the limitations. I couldn't even imagine that this could be fun. And I avoided meeting women because it just wasn't working and it wasn't fun. And the only secure place I knew of myself was to go back home and think about meeting women. And some of you, I think, may associate with that. I saw some heads nodding. After I met Ross, and he and another student and friend of his, Lou Payne, did some work on me during one of the hot seat sessions that you must have heard about. And then the whole thing turned around because I started realizing, wow, this can be fun. And since then, it's never been the same again, and the results show it.
He's so funny. Kamal is, and we'll have him talk about this, Kamal is what I call a trance hijacker. And he's a trance hijacker. Doc Dave, who will be here this weekend, who looks like a basset hound in human clothes. He specializes in seducing gym babes, hot babes at the gym. He's about maybe 100 pounds overweight, at least. He's a big man, big roly-poly guy. Dresses like a slob, and that's insulting slobs, and you wouldn't believe the women he gets. He does the same thing. He's also a trance hijacker. We'll talk about trance hijacking. You are a trance hijacker. You know
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
Bad boy, man.
Sometimes I trance myself out when the woman is so beautiful.
No glass with ice? I have the good job I'm doing. I have to drink from the can? Come on. All right, thank you, Kamal. Unless
Thank
you have
you,
something
Ross.
else you want to add at this point. You're welcome.
Oh, there'll be lots more.
All right, thank you.